This JMC 6000 here, and before me this week I have the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Not just any Grand Cherokee, but this is the Grand Cherokee L, the long wheelbase edition. And this is the Laredo trim, so kind of a basic trim for the Grand Cherokee. So let's go through it here. Had this on loan from Dishman Dodge. Appreciate Dishman Dodge. Let me borrow this Jeep for this review over in Spokane. But let's go ahead and go through this Jeep Grand Cherokee L Laredo edition. So one of the things I wanted to point out is, let's go ahead. This, I believe Jeep introduced this vehicle, I believe was for the 2023 or 2022 model years when they came out with the new style Grand Cherokee. Everything is LED up front. You got LED headlights, LED high beams, LED daytime running lights that are actually amber for the turn signal as well. This particular model doesn't have fog lights, but they would be LED and they would be right here. What you have is kind of this fake grill insert and kind of non-functional pieces right here. But then you do have, this particular model does come with the radar cruise control. The radar sensor is right there, and you have a camera up in the glass. Now, if we come along the side here, being that this is the Laredo, you get the 18-inch sparkle silver rims, kind of a 5 multi-spoke design here, running Michelin Primacies, the 265/60 R18 tires. They're not the best tires. They're kind of cheap, run-of-the-mill Michelins. I'm not a big fan of those particular Michelin tires. Michelin usually makes good tire, but those are not very good tires. Anyway, outside of that, you can tell this is the long wheelbase version by how long it is. And then let's come around back and then we'll look at the window sticker. This is the back of the Jeep here. We do have LED running lights, and we do have LED turn signals and brake lights, not only here, but we also have a LED high mount stop light right here, and we have LED backup lights as well. No physical exhaust tips. I believe the V8 comes with an actual physical exhaust tips, but not on the V6 Laredo version. Power lift gate. And then this being the L, you have the third row of seating. This only seats 2 people in the very third row, almost like the Ford Explorer. And then this is the back here. You got some extra room in here to store some different things. The jack is in here, and the spare is actually located underneath the vehicle. You can't get to it from the inside. You got to get to it from underneath, and actually you got to drop it down almost like in a pickup truck. All right, so that is the back end here. We do have some power outlets, and then this being the power lift gate, I can shut it via a button right there. In fact, let's go over here. Awesome, I was kind of confused there. All right, let's look at the window sticker here. This starts at $43,535 for the L version, the Laredo 4x4. This does have the diamond black crystal pearl coat, which is a very nice color. If you're into black, this is a very nice black. And then this only has one option package. It's a luxury tech group 1 package, which comes with rain sensitive wipers, remote start on the key fob, which I have right here, remote start on the key fob. This is Jeep's current key system here. Selectable tire fill alert. You have Sirius XM, you have heated steering wheel, heated front seats, AR cloth. You get 115 volt auxiliary power outlet. We saw that in the back. Power lift gate, and a third row charge only USB ports in the third row, which is pretty cool. So let's go ahead, and actually I'm going to go into the other side, and we're going to hop on in the back, and then we'll talk about what's underneath the hood. So this is the middle row. I don't know, I believe this is standard. You can, it comes with captain chairs, but you can get a bench seat. If you get captain chairs, this only holds 6 people. If you get the bench seat, it'll hold up to 7. This particular one has the captain chairs with the black cloth on the inside here. Pretty good materials back here. Nice soft touch right here. A nice padded armrest right here. Jeep does a really good job with that. They're trying to up their game as far as their interior quality. Let's go ahead and see if I can get myself in the very third row. Oh. All right, a couple things to remark about the third row. Number one, we do have power outlets back here. pretty cool. That was a part of that luxury tech package. We get power outlets, a USB-C and a USB-A port. We also get vents back here, which is nice. Also, we have the climate control and more USB ports right in the center there, which is pretty cool. And of course, the household outlet. One of the things I want to make mention, these seats, the second row seats are all the way on the ground, and I can't even put my feet underneath of them. So if I'm sitting in the second row, either this person here has to move their seat up, or I have to sit kind of side saddle like this just to kind of get comfortable. I believe these seats are all the way back. This seat can move up, which gives me something like that right there. Now I have more room in the back here. I have plenty of headroom. But it is a little bit of a tight third row. I would say it's on par, maybe a little bit less room than what you find in the Ford Explorer and what you find in some of these other 3-row SUVs. The winners in the group for size-wise are going to be the Grand Highlander, going to be the Traverse, the Acadia, the new Acadia. And they're going to be some of those. Even the Telluride and the Palisade are going to have a little bit more third row room. But this is what we have back here. So let me see if I can get myself out of here. In fact, I'm going to have my son move out, and I'm going to use this latch right here. Oh, check that out. That's pretty cool. Tip and slide, tumble seat. Oh, man. All right. All right. That works. Well, let's go ahead and pop the hood, and let's see what's underneath there. Now, this Saturday, I will be doing a separate video on talking about the 3.6 liter Pentastar. So stay tuned for that for JMC Garage Talk. But what's underneath the hood? You have 2 engine options currently for the Jeep Grand Cherokee. You had the 3.6 Pentastar putting out 293 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque, pushing around a vehicle that weighs just about 4,700 pounds. Now, these vehicles can weigh a lot more depending on if you get the Hemi and if you get the Overland Edition and everything else. But this vehicle currently weighs in right around 4,700 pounds or thereabouts, plus or minus a few pounds. Anyway, decent powertrain. There are some things I will say about the powertrain, and I'll be touching upon those on my drive. But as you can see here, it's relatively easy to work on, and we'll get more into the particulars about this powertrain, my storyline likes and dislikes on the JMC Garage Talk video this coming Saturday evening, so stay tuned for that. Let's go ahead and go inside, and let's look at what the front has. I'm just going to set that there. All right. We have the current generation Grand Cherokee. This is the L model, and we have what we have in the front here as far as size and room. One of the things I will say about this vehicle, it feels very big. Grand Cherokee is known to be a decent size, actually a mid-size SUV, but it feels very big even on the inside. Very big to drive as well. It's definitely not nimble feeling or anything like that, but that will get more into the drive when I get into that. But let's go over my likes and dislikes for this Grand Cherokee 2024 L model. Couple things I want to say. Number one like I have for this vehicle is, personally, I love the way the Grand Cherokees look. I have always liked the way the Grand Cherokees look. One of the weird years for the Grand Cherokee has to be like the, I think it was the WK. It was like between 05 to 2010 or 11. They just look absolutely odd and weird. Ugh, just horrible looking. Then Jeep kind of redeemed himself when they came out the 2011 model, based off that Daimler platform. And then when they introduced this latest model, I think it's probably one of the better looking of the Grand Cherokees. This is on a totally dedicated platform, totally bespoke to Stellantis and Jeep and all that. Forget what the name of it is, but it's something like a large architectural. It's still a unibody, but it is rear-wheel drive based, which is very unique in this segment. There's not many vehicles that are rear-wheel drive based that are three-row SUV midsize in this segment. You got this, the Ford Explorer, I think one other vehicle, and that's about it. So anyway, turn my heated seat heat off here and turn down the fan and the temperature. Anyway, so another light that I have has to be this has standard adaptive cruise, which works awesome. I love the digital gauge cluster. This, I believe, is a 12-inch digital gauge cluster screen. There is some customization you can do with this screen and different things that you can choose, and different things you can kind of go through. You know, you can have the dials real big and kind of that classic look. You can also press and hold, and you can get a more of a digital look right there. If I press it, hold it again, it goes to the two big dials, and then you can go through different information. Anyway, I like keeping on the fuel economy information and kind of having that screen up. As you can see, where we're going to talk about the downsides of this Jeep, but again, that's the second thing I like, is this digital gauge cluster and a little bit of customization that it offers. Third thing that I like about this Jeep, it's actually a like and a dislike, and let me explain. So I like the interior. I like the way it looks. It looks well, and it has decent quality materials. Nice soft touch all up here on the dash. We have this kind of this pleather with some genuine stitching going on the front here, and then we have this nice soft touch on the door rest up here, right here. This armrest here is nice and padded and gushy soft. I do love that, the stitching. But then for $47,000, there are some downsides to this interior, and that's my first dislike. As much as I like this interior, number one, I think the steering wheel is just big, oafy, and chunky. It's just way too big, and I understand, whatever. I do like the stitching on it though, but a little bit oafy. But one of the things I don't like about this interior, as much as you have nice soft touch plastics and everything, but for 47 grand, I mean, I got cheap plastic. This whole thing is all cheap, hard touch plastic. That's, you know, and as much as this interior is nice, there is some cheaper plastics in here, especially for the price point. And I wish Jeep would kind of, I mean, if you're going to step into another level of luxury, Jeep, you got to bring it. Even on the lower end vehicles, you got to bring it. Just, I don't like the idea of soft and then immediately hard and kind of tinny. You heard that, right? Kind of tinny sounding. Not so much over here, but really right here. It's, anyway. That's beside it. The second thing I don't like about this particular vehicle, or that is negative for me, is this screen. Now, this is the Uconnect 5. This is what I have Android Auto up. Let's go into the native Uconnect system. Now, the screen itself is only 8.4 inches. I mean, there's so much stuff, and this black shiny plastic. I mean, they could have made it a little bit bigger. I mean, they have the room. Jeep, just make it standard. I mean, the new Ford Explorer is coming out with a standard over 13-inch screen. Come on, Jeep. It's trying to, you know, get with the times and get with a little bit bigger screen and just make it standard. And you got all this unused real estate right here. And, you know, the native system is all right. I appreciate Uconnect 5 and everything you can do with it and everything else. It works very well. You have different things you go into, your display and your profiles and all that. I get that, and all your apps. And then let's go back to Android Auto. But Android Auto really looks small and kind of scrunched together because these don't go away and these don't go away. So what you have left is a smaller version of Android Auto stuck on an 8-inch screen, because these don't go away and these don't go away. I can't make Android Auto full screen on this thing because it would take away these shortcuts and take away my information up here. So that's kind of a downside of this particular screen. Otherwise, nice screen, appreciate it. And I do like the hard buttons down below here for my climate. Everything is listed out pretty nicely. I got a volume knob, a tuning knob, hard buttons for your heated seat, steering wheel, everything else. And then because this is the L model, all I have here is just my rotary dial for my park, reverse, neutral, drive. That's it. There's nothing here. There's no adaptive suspension. There's no air suspension, or even I don't have any drive modes. That's my last gripe. I don't have any drive modes, and this is a four-wheel drive model. I have no idea if four-wheel drive's working, if it's not working, what it's doing. I have a sport mode. That's it. That's all I have is a sport mode. I don't have any other drive modes in this particular vehicle. Everything is all auto. I can't choose what I want to do. If I want to go in eco, if I want to go in normal, if I want to go in sport, or maybe if I want to use some real four-wheel drive action, I can't really do that in this thing because four-wheel drive is auto all the time. So, and then the last kind of a gripe and concern is fuel mileage. Sitting here now, I'm getting 20.4. This thing is average, or is supposed to average between 18 in the city, 25 on the highway. I was only seeing about 22 on the highway. Not even hitting the highway number, not even close. And where's my window sticker? Supposed to be 21 combined. I was getting about a little over the combined rate. So you don't want to buy this vehicle thinking that if you get the V6 that you're going to get excellent fuel economy. That's not the reason why you would buy this. So let me kind of sum up a few things, then we'll go into the drive. You know, for the money, if you can get this at a discount, and if you're diehard, I want a Jeep, I have a family, and I need the L version of the Grand Cherokee. You love the looks and everything else. I get that. Then, you know, this is a decent vehicle. I mean, the 8-speed automatic is excellent and everything else, but I believe there's some better family SUVs out there, even those that are four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive type of an SUV. Again, there's not many out there that are longitudinally based, where you have the drive line actually going through the center and the rear-wheel drive base. It's pretty much this and the Explorer and the Durango. But Durango is just so old, and it's on its way out. So, you know, I would recommend this over the Durango. And the Durango is based off the older platform, the older Daimler Chrysler platform. I would recommend this over the Durango. Some people love the Durango, and then you can get some nice engine options for the Durango, but I would stick with this over the Durango if you want to be a diehard, you want Stellantis, you want the Jeep feeling. And this is a decent buy. Now, the other thing about these can get very expensive very quick. If you start adding options, you go with the Hemi and everything else, not only are you getting less fuel mileage, but man, they start getting really pricey, and you can get a Grand Cherokee L upwards of 60 plus, 70 for the Overland models, and some of these other high-end models. I believe the Summit is one of those high-end models, and they can get expensive quick. So again, if you love Jeep, you're a diehard Jeep guy, and you want the Jeep name and everything else, this is an excellent vehicle. I recommend this or the Durango. But man, between this and the 25 Explorer that's coming out, I think the Explorer is going to have this thing beat, especially for the price you're offering. They're going to undercut this thing by several $1,000s. But anyway, for what it is, it's a decent vehicle. Stay tuned for my drive portion. I'll give you my overall thoughts on this particular vehicle. Thank you so much. All right, behind the wheel of the 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, and wanted to go up my hill here in this driving portion of the video, and I got the cruise control set to 55, and we're going to see how this thing does. Right now we're sitting at about 1,500 RPMs. Oh, it just downshifted to just about 1,800, maybe 1,900 RPMs, and we're going to see how it does, see if it holds gears and everything. So far, I've been pretty impressed. I tell you what, the 8-speed automatic really livens up this 3.6 Pentastar. I remember driving the 3.6 Pentastar, as I told my story, which you'll hear on the JMC Garage Talk, in a Wrangler with the old 5-speed Daimler transmission. That thing was horrible. But anyway, this 8-speed, oh, it just downshifted again. And right now we're sitting at a little over $2,000 as it's climbing up my hill here at 55 miles an hour. It seems to be pulling up just fine. Again, doesn't seem to be wrapping the RPMs up really any higher than just above $2,000. The adaptive cruise control in this system works well. It could accelerate a little bit quicker when you go around vehicles, but other than that, it works pretty well. This doesn't have lane centering. It does have lane tracing, if you want to call it that. It kind of nudges you a little bit back into the lane, and it'll vibrate the steering wheel to help you kind of pay attention to wake up and whatnot. So right now it's pulling up the hill just fine. Pretty impressed. You know, again, this 8-speed automatic, really, the ZF is really a true gem in this vehicle. So a couple things to note in this driving portion. I'm going to wrap it up here. The ride here in the Grand Cherokee L is a little stiff, even with these 18-inch tires. They're 60 series tires. The ride can be a little bit stiff in this. I was very surprised by that. A little bit stiffer than I expected. It's been a while since I drove a Durango. I just recently drove an Explorer, and even the Explorer with the 20-inch rims actually rides a little bit better than this does with the 18s. So again, wasn't expecting that, but you know, but yeah, other than that, it feels and drives as big as it does. So what I mean by that is the way the vehicle feels behind the wheel, the way it drives, it feels and very much drives like a big SUV. Even though it's supposed to be a mid-size SUV, it drives and feels like a big SUV. It's not very nimble around corners. It's not, you know, it's not going to be overly confident in that area. I mean, it'll get you where you need to go, but don't expect it to be a sports car or anything like that. And that's not what this vehicle is about. But it definitely rides and drives and feels like a big SUV. Almost has a truck kind of a feeling to it. And it's based off a unibody chassis. So definitely interesting in that aspect. But other than that, we're going to wrap this video up. Gas mileage is not very good in this thing. Again, that's one of the things I mentioned earlier in this video. But even on my back roads, as it went up the hill, we're still averaging only about 25 miles to the gallon. It's not the best in fuel mileage. So don't expect, even when you get the V6, that you're going to be really saving a lot in fuel. It is going to be better than the Hemi, no doubt, but it's not the best in fuel mileage. So, wrap things up. Again, this is a decent vehicle. I don't know if it's really worth the money. If you're desiring to have a Jeep, you might as well just go out and get the Hemi and everything else with the Grand Cherokee. I can't imagine this V6 saddled with anything heavier than what the Laredo is, and just really kind of struggling. I mean, it's adequate for what it is right now, kind of lively in the upper RPMs, but anything heavier and it's just going to struggle. It really will. So, but anyway, this is JMC 6000. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification as I upload every single Wednesday morning and Saturday evening with JMC Garage Talk, where I talk about the 3.6 Pentastar V6 in this version of JMC Garage Talk. So you want to stay tuned for that. All right, you guys be blessed. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you on the next one.